Hey, vinyl community, metalheads everywhere. How we doing tonight? This one is going to be a response thread to Christian over at Front to Back Vinyl. He's got a channel relaunch that he has been working on here for the last, few months. And he came up with a great little thread thing we can all work on here. Basically, he said 3 bands, 3 decades. So I instantly knew I'll be able to do that easily. So what I ended up doing is I picked, the first 3 that came to mind. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to pick something that's a little less, I don't want to say popular, but of course, some of the big ones always come to mind right off the get-go. But I picked 3 bands. One of them is probably something that doesn't get a lot of talk here in the VC. So I'll start off with that one right now, and that is Pretty Maids. Pretty Maids, Future World. This is from 1987. This is a Danish band. These guys have been around. They're kind of a little bit on a hiatus right now because the singer, he's got some health issues. Here's my original CD from, I do have this one on vinyl back here, but Japanese CD. Great melodic hard rock, heavy on the keyboards. Just good old rock, hard rock. Like I said, they've been going for, I think their last album was in 2021, 2022. But Ronnie Atkins is, he's got some health issues, so he's done a couple solo records. Not sure where that leaves the band, but hopefully we'll see some more. All right, that was 1987. Moving on into the 90s is their album Spooked. This is a terrific album. All the screws here are embossed, they're raised. On the inside, you can see the one hole in it there that lines up with the O in Spooked. So, Japanese thing. But yeah, on the back side, for some reason, all of them, they're all holes through it. So, great band. This one was actually a favorite of mine. This came out in 1997. Excellent one. This one really rates as one of my favorites of the middle era of that. So that was 87. This one is 97. And then I took this thread to do consecutive decades. So I went with this one here. Reason I went with this one and not Pandemonium, because this one was a great album. This one from 2010. I just showed 4 decades though. Anyway, they definitely took a turn up from here on out with that 2010. But this one here, Wake Up in the Real World, Wake Up to the Real World. They had been, I don't want to say slipping. The music was still good, but they weren't doing much there. That turn of the century and the aughts were kind of bland for them. Again, my original CD from Japan. I've got pretty much everything on. Actually, I think this was the last one from Japan I got, and then from here on out, I have them all on US or German, whatever. This is Frontiers. So if you don't know Pretty Maids, they're a great band. Technically, I just showed 4 albums, 4 decades. Excellent. You can't go wrong with this one. Good old rock. All right, band number 2, going back to 1979. Whitesnake, Love Hunter. I've loved this band. Discovered them in 1983. Actually discovered them on this album. This one still remains my favorite of all of theirs to this day. Very good record. This one has the distinction of having two different versions, a US and a British version. This particular one is this is the US. So I do have the British one over there. It's a little different mix. You know, this one here, this is a German, at least I think it's a German pressing. Walking in the Shadow of the Blues. Great song, and that got its start here in 1979. Bernie Marsden on guitars, Coverdale, Neil Murray on bass, John Lord on keyboards, Duck Dowell on drums, don't know him, Mickey Moody on slide guitar and vocals. So a great record. A lot of this early stuff is really, really good. And this one needs no introduction. This thing's just phenomenal. Cozy Powell on drums. This version has John Lord keyboards, Mel Galley guitar, John Sykes guitar, Neil Murray on bass, and Cozy Powell drums. Again, so 1979, 1984, and then jumping into 1997. I'm trying to get no glare from this one, but this is a very shiny cover. Restless Heart. This is the double album. This is the reissue. Obviously, there was no vinyl back in the day. This one was released as a 25th anniversary edition under the Whitesnake label, namesake. And there was the original one. It's a solo record for all intents and purposes, but I believe this was the case of a record label wanting the David Coverdale name on there. You know, he came out of the blues, did the hard rock there, slided in, did a couple, you know, hair metal, there, I said it, hair metal records, very, very successful records there in 87 and 89. And then he kind of went back. He stepped back a bit after those tours ended there in the early 90s, and then kind of went back, did a little soul searching, you know, and that's where this one came from. You know, it's not the greatest record. It's kind of mellow. It's kind of bland, but it is part of his repertoire, and well done. He, after this, went off. There was one more solo record, but then he went off and started to do a few more, back to the blues, basically, blues rock from here on out. So, cover, like I said, is a little different. This whole thing is different than what we saw on the original CD, but that emblem there still gets its place on the reissue. So good job to the Whitesnake and gang. Had a heck of a career with some very, very good records. So now this other one, we're going to go back to the 80s, my favorite era. But I picked a not one of the more obvious choices. I like this one. In fact, I like this one a lot. Saxon. Innocence is No Excuse. This record, when that came out in 1985, this is my original copy from 1985. I liked this one a lot. This had some just killer tracks on it. Rockin' Again, Back on the Streets, Call of the Wild, Broken Heroes, Give It Everything You Got. I mean, I don't think there's a stinker on here. Again, great record, 1985. They came out of 1979 with the EP, and then progressed into the 80s, the early 80s, and the new wave of British heavy metal with just some killer records, one right after another. 84, 85, 86, they kind of were starting to plateau. And then towards the late 80s, there was a couple duds. And even into the 90s, here, 1992, Good record. I mean, it's still Saxon. Just, fairly recently, show this nice, cool. This is Music on Vinyl. Music on Vinyl went through and reissued everything on the BMG side of things. Great masters, absolutely wonderful to have these. I think they did 10 of them. And then going into the aughts, 2004. This one here actually was a favorite of mine. I really, really liked this one here. Couple really good songs on here. Witchfinder General. My favorite, Lionheart. To Live by the Sword, or to just name a few of them. This is also the Music on Vinyl. My favorite German drummer is on here, Jörg Michael. They put these in all of the Music on Vinyl ones. But yeah, as well as the second insert with all the lyrics. So yeah, they did a great job with these. And then, yep, so that concludes my take on the 3 bands from 3 decades. Saxon 2004, Saxon 1992, Saxon 1985, Whitesnake 1997, Whitesnake 1984, Whitesnake 1979, Pretty Maids 2006. Pretty Maids 1997. Pretty Maids 1987. Check this band out. If you haven't heard of them, check these guys out. Very good band. I can't say enough good about them. Just terrific. So, all right, I'll leave a link in the bottom below so you guys can find the original video from Christian. And hey, enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.